So the turrets and grounded are obviously here. I've already shown you guys how to unlock them. They did make some cosmetic changes, but I will just quickly briefly tell you where to go and get the chips to unlock the pollen and obviously the pebble. But today we're going to give a few more tips about how to place them. I'm having real difficulty getting some of these to place on walls or underneath, and that was a new addition they added from the time that I did my last video. And I'm probably still going to give a little bit more feedback, and I'm sure they will adjust and change stuff before its full release. But yeah, I do feel like the turret still needs just a little bit more oomph. So to unlock the pollen turret, you need to go and get the chip that's inside the chest on top of the picnic table, and of course you're going to need the key that's in the exposed pipe. Again, loads of guides out there showing you how to do this. And of course for the pebblet turret, you're going to need to head to the sandbox for the laboratory, and again you're going to need to have defeated the assistant manager mini boss to gain access to this laboratory, and you should find it here. Return them both to Burgle and they cost 2,500 science points each, and you've unlocked both turrets. So both turrets cost exactly the same materials to craft: 2 acorn shells, 1 acorn top, 3 lint rope, 1 flower petal and 2 weed stems. Obviously the pollen one is meant to be for stunning creatures, and it's meant to be particularly good for maybe flying creatures, so you then get a chance for your teammates to go and attack them. But I'm going to give some more feedback on that one. And then the pebblet turret is obviously meant to be doing more damage against creatures. So placing them is a bit odd at the moment. There's just something a bit off, and I'm sure it'll get fixed. I don't want to rag on it too much, as I know sometimes lots of us YouTubers can jump to conclusions pretty quickly. But yeah, I had real trouble trying to place these. Like sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. In the past I had trouble putting them on or underneath the burr ceilings, and then other times they've been perfect. So you can see I'm having a real issue trying to get them connected. What I've discovered is you do need a lot of space around them. You can't have any kind of decoration pieces underneath, close to it. Even I would say a good 2 square radius around it sometimes, if you want them to hang sideways or go from upside down. Now you may ask, why do you want them upside down? Well, there is a little bit of a lip on the turrets where you can't really aim downwards, so you need to have these quite low. But of course when you have them quite low, that means bugs can attack them pretty easily. So you can see here, after some difficulty, I finally managed to get one to hang upside down. As said, I'm sure it's a minor little thing, it will get fixed and we'll be able to place them a lot easier. So having them upside down gives you a chance to be able to shoot downwards at enemies, and it gives you protection against creatures destroying them a little bit easier. And likewise sideways is going to be a decent one too. Of course you don't have as much of a good angle, and it can take some time getting used to aiming them sideways or upside down. So it's not ideal, but I figure it's something cool we can maybe build. Or if you are a creative person, you can make your own style blimp. You can of course move them after you've placed them, and they do share the same features as some of the crafting benches. It will pull your pebbles or your pollen from a chest nearby. You've probably got to be within about 2 squares distance away though from the turret itself. You can see I added this one here, and it's literally maybe only just about 2.5 squares, and it was finally ready to go. You can do decent damage with the actual pebblet firing from it, but you can't pick the pebblets up after you've actually used them. And of course likewise the pollen you just simply load up into a chest nearby or one of these baskets, and you should be able to go ahead and use the turret pretty easily. So the pollen does a little bit more of a stun damage. There is obviously a projectile kind of drop, so you are going to have to aim higher as you aim further if you want to hit any actual creatures. I think I would like the actual reticles to be just a little bit more closer together though. Like when you fire something, it actually goes or aims at the top a little bit more, so the drop won't be so severe. Especially as this is quite precious ammo, getting pollen's not really that easy, or it takes a while to farm to climb up to all the actual flowers or get some from bees. But you can see the range that I'm kind of doing against this mosquito from distance. So some other areas of improvement: the turrets need to have more health. They get absolutely demolished by most creatures fairly quickly and easily, and because most of the time you're going to be placing them on the floor to get that good range of actually being able to shoot at creatures, it becomes a real problem that it's just too easily exposed. You can do stuff like put turrets on windowsills from some of the walls that have the windows, and that I thought might be some way to protect it, but it just doesn't really do the job. You can still get easily attacked by creatures. Of course I know you can put spike sprigs down below, or spike strips, or maybe some other smaller fences to help protect it as well, but with the area effect damage from a lot of creatures, it simply is just too big. Again, you could place maybe windows so that they line up nicely, and you might be able to get a fairly decent cone of shot, and you can shoot through them, but of course that does limit your eyesight in terms of what you'll be able to shoot. But honestly, that might be the way to go, just doing it hexagon and hoping that any bugs that you are shooting aren't going to be hitting right on the corners. They did improve the rate of fire between the actual Pollen Shot one, I do believe, but I do feel like both of them just need to do more damage. Apart from the rope lint, they're not the most expensive things to craft, but their use is kind of just a bit redundant at the moment. Like, unless you can really coordinate with someone else by using the Pollen Shot to knock out creatures and then your friend goes in for the kill, you won't have time to also go and do the same thing. Jumping out of the turret and then trying to kill a creature that you've stunned, it simply just takes too long. By the time you got to the creature, it's already picked itself back up, so the Pollen Shot again becomes a little bit more useless. Maybe if you're knocking creatures out over water, that could be something decent. So yeah, I would like it to be a bit more buffed. I do just feel like it's still just a little bit too weak sauce. Players, even if you're not that OG at it, are going to feel that they could probably go and kill bugs a lot easier with just some decent armor and some weapons, and it's kind of true. Or maybe make some of the bigger creatures more susceptible, or the ones that obviously attack your bases. Maybe this works better when you've got the mutation where you've got the base defenses as well, but I feel like it needs something. There either needs to be a new mutation that explicitly helps boost turrets, or maybe we can get an upgrade, or maybe it can be something that we can just get a bonus buff with it. They look cool, I absolutely love the idea of them, but they do definitely still need a bit of work. And I'm sure they will get buffed or changed a little bit. But yeah, that's what I think about the turrets at the moment. Your best case use of them is maybe defending some of the mixers if you're doing it with friends. Otherwise, certainly having a couple around your base just to quickly take out a few creatures now and then. Or setting up something to do with your waft provoker so that you can hopefully organise something decent with that and be able to take out creatures quicker, especially obviously the flying ones. If you're having problems placing them, just jiggle things around a lot. Make sure there's clearance across everywhere, and hopefully you should be able to place them on any surface. It doesn't need to be particular ceiling or wall. It can be any of them. You just got to make sure you've got space around it. And there we go. That's my tips and on how to use the turrets. Let me know what you think. How do you see them being improved, or do you think they're okay? Pop it in the comment section down below. I'll see you right back soon. Bye-bye.